Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. Give it to you how you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to get the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Roll with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4 for 26 toward the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
What up, everybody out there? You are once again live in the War Room, to you by War Room Sports and the War Room Podcast Network. I want to go some McMillan. I'm at the round table with my Jimmy Blueprint and the boy B. Austin. I'll put out some of the biggest stories, sports from the past week, and give 19 NFL awards and a whole lot more. So pull up a comfy chair.
Your sound is crazy, B.
I heard something. I was wondering.
Yeah, they're kicking you in the teeth as you talk.
Oh, Ray, gee. All right, let me switch it up here for a minute.
All right, that's better. Much.
A lot better.
All right, so everybody out there, I don't know if you heard what I said before, but whatever, you're in the War Room. We're going to talk our ish as we usually do, so make sure you pull up a comfy chair. Keep it locked right here in the War Room. If you want to get in on the conversation, sign in right now to the By the Hood chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. Or you can join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 5 minutes on the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. But before we get started, as we usually let you guys know, make sure that during the week when we're not live on the air and you're not doing much of anything and you need some entertainment, just remember to check out archive episodes of our show on our own network at warroomsports.com and the War Room Sports mobile app. Also on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts during the week. What up, Bo? So y'all homie Biff Tannen, he decided to let the blicky go on Iran. Iran, in turn, throws a rock at his window, and since then, all the Trump squad has basically had heat and tough talk for Iran. What up, man? We going to war or nah?
No. It's a lot of to do about nothing.
A lot of posturing going on.
Yeah, because he
a lot of I knock you the fuck out type stuff. A lot of Marcus Morris going on.
The sad thing is, I wonder if the American citizenry even understands why any of this is going on. Can you in a nutshell describe for me or help me understand why the U.S. is at odds with Iran?
You asking me, or are you about to tell everybody?
Yeah, I'm asking anybody that wants to answer me. I mean, I kind of know the answer, but I'm curious as to other people's perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on if you know the answer, or you know what they've told everybody. Because according to our beloved, government, the leader that they killed over there in Iraq supposedly, had some things cooking for America. Nobody else but our beloved government, in my opinion, believes that to be true. You got some intel on it?
I mean, we only can conquer hate, so therefore that's why we at where we at, man. Marvin taught me that.
Word. At the end of the day, the U.S. is in the Middle East for the oil, dog. They're there for the oil.
Yeah. Right. Well,
Not according to the president. Not according to the president.
Remember
What the president said in his speech? He said, we don't even need none of this stinking ass oil. We said right now, at this point, we get more oil than they do.
They fracking under Trump Towers. They done found some oil. They don't need that.
Word.
He really said that, B. Also, that's not a joke.
Yeah.
No, I know,
but you know, boy just like to get his lie on. It's weird.
He said
you have the highest office in the land, and you just say what you want. Like, it's always been so spectacular for me. Like, the entertainment value of it all, so spectacular. Like, dude says what he wants to say. Truth be damned, facts be damned.
But you know what?
But yeah, Iran's response. They shot some missiles at a couple of military installments over in the Middle East, blew up some runways, some airports, stuff like that. It was akin to them just throwing a rock at the window. So it's like they're kind of showing you, all right, well, we can't look like punks, but at the same time, we don't really want that smoke, so we're just going to do this. Now, it's up to Biff. At this point, we know him to be sort of an egomaniac, but it's up to him to be able to say, all right, they just tried to scratch us and everything's cool. I could go spank them some more and start something that nobody really wants started, or, he could chill. I don't have odds on him chilling, but maybe somebody of some intelligence will get to him and let him know that it's not worth it at this point.
Here's what I recognize, man. The bigger story in all of this is how, depending upon how you carry yourself and how you talk to people, and if people feel like you care or feel like you're not disrespecting them, they're willing to let you get away with a lot more. Because, regardless of what you say about the boy, he's doing nothing than what's been done in the past. It's just that he's real blunt and harsh and, has an it-gas mentality. When previous people, and I'm not talking about one person in specific, I'm talking about all of them. In your history, man, they've done the same thing, B. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to point that out. As you move through life, man, you treat people nice, you could probably get it. It's like they say, man, people that get robbed, people in suits, man, they lose a lot more money than the average Joe on the street with a gun. Because you treat people nice and they feel like you care, they'll give you anything. So the one thing about y'all president, because, boy don't care. Like, he ain't about that life. It's about, look, this is what it is, because I'm create what's real and what's fake anyway.
Yeah, and they out there talking real greasy to the Iranians, basically saying you don't want war with America. What did the general say? You don't want war with America, because if that happens, somebody else going to be raising your sons and daughters.
Somebody else going to be raising your kids.
Boy got up on the podium and said, yo, you got guns, we got guns too. What up, son, dude? You want to battle for cash and shoes, son, too?
Word.
That's what he told him.
That's definitely what he told him. All right, man. Well, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. We don't really have a choice as American citizens. But let's get into some of these hot topics, and hot topics are brought to you by MyBookie. You guys can make a lot of bread sports betting at MyBookie. The NFL is in the divisional round, and the NBA is barreling towards the All-Star break. But if you still haven't checked out MyBookie, this is the perfect time for you to lay down some cash on the biggest games in sports. Join us and a whole lot of other online players placing bets at mybookie.ag. If you guys are tired of getting excuses when it's time to collect on your bets, whether you're doing online, whether you're betting with your homies, or whether you're betting with the bookie down the block, that's why we urge you to join MyBookie. If you win, they pay out fast without hassle. You wasting your time sports betting anywhere else, and they even have in-game live betting so you can place wagers after the game starts. So join now, and MyBookie will match 50% of your first deposit up to $1,000. So just use the promo code WARROOM, all caps, WARROOM. to activate this offer. Visit mybookie.ag today. Play, win, and get paid. That's all there is to it. All right, so I wanted to ask you guys a question. B, you being a diehard Philadelphia Eagles fan, as you know, in the wild card round, they took the L to the Seattle Seahawks, 17-9, exact same score in the exact same stadium. That these two teams got together. I believe it was in Week 12. Everything played out pretty much the same, except for one thing. After 4 snaps, Carson Wentz was no longer available for the Philadelphia Eagles. This was his first ever playoff game appearance. He was taken out of the game with a concussion on a hit by Jadeveon Clowney. I know you guys have seen the hit several times in the game, since the game. I just wanted to get your guys' opinion. Do you guys think that this hit was a dirty hit from Jadeveon Clowney?
Absolutely.
And
mind
you, it wasn't even penalized during the game. So, where do you guys stand with the hit? Should it have been penalized? Was it dirty? Was it borderline dirty? What are your thoughts?
No, it was definitely dirty. I don't know Jadeveon Clowney to be a dirty player per se, but the runner had given himself up, was going to the ground. He went and put his shoulder and arm in between Carson Wentz's shoulder blades and drove his head into the turf. Yeah, it's dirty. He was already down. He was going down. So it was a dirty hit. I was surprised that
and even because you mentioned some words, you said give himself up. Even, because there's some people that see it a different way. Most of the people I talk to that see it a different way don't really bang with the Eagles like that. So, you talk to like Dallas fans and they didn't see anything wrong with it. You kind of hate when people can't be objective just because of their rooting interest. But at the same time, even if you take out the give himself up, he was already pushed by one of their D-backs.
Other player.
So he's already being pushed down to the ground. Not like he can get up and run again. I agree with you. Like I said, no bias in this whatsoever. No matter who were the characters in this drama, I would have thought the same thing. Jadeveon Clowney, especially as big and tall as he is, like there was nothing natural about the way he kind of bent down and shot. Like he went head first to somebody who was ground level. So it looked really weird. I know Vitae or somebody was right next to the play asking for a penalty when it happened. I noticed it when it happened. I was in 2 different chats, and I was like, Carson got effed up on that play. I don't think a lot of people recognized it when it happened. Truthfully, when I said that, I was thinking maybe he could have, like, broken his wrist or something because it was stuck under him when dude jumped on top of him. So,
Your man Carson got up, and they said Carson didn't know where he was. He didn't know his name. He didn't know he had CTE. Like
they said he didn't know who they played last week. He couldn't answer basic questions. Go ahead, Jim.
He was done. And the funny thing about those that are not objective, this would have been the same response from me, even if it was trash ass Dak. I'd have laughed, but I'd have said, "Yo, that's dirty." If it was cheating ass Brady, Jadeveon Clowney being a large African American man, they would have rang him up on aggravated assault charges and thrown him in jail if he hit Brady like that. So, but it should have been a flag no matter who it was. Period.
Yeah, I mean, for him for getting away with it. My man thought he was Batman when he got up there. I asked him, like, what's popping? He said, I'm Batman. But, it was a dirty play, and he got away with it. Like, my thing is,
but go ahead, I'm sorry.
It is what it is. No, I'm just saying, I'll be like, oh, it's not it is a dirty play. There's dirty plays literally in every game. Some people get away with them, some don't.
Every game, yeah.
And that's all.
not.
Like, you talk to people, I'm like, dude. I mean, we can be objective. It doesn't matter that you hate the Eagles or something like that, or you dislike Carson Wentz. Like, objectivity is objectivity. Like, you see the play, you can say it was dirty. Just like B said, you could say I don't care, or you can laugh, or you can be happy for it. Whatever you do, you do. But to sit there and it's hard to take somebody serious who doesn't think that. And just like I've heard a whole lot of talking heads say, just because you say it's a dirty play doesn't necessarily mean that you're calling Jadeveon Clowney a dirty player, because you need more than one incident for that to become your reputation. Even though, you said you never saw anything before, the crazy part about it is the only other questionable play that I can remember in his career came against another Eagles quarterback when he tried to kill Nick Foles with what most people thought was a dirty play. Now, here's another part that kind of got under my skin. There's a lot of people that's furthering the Wentz is injury prone, Wentz is soft, Wentz is this and that because of this hit. Now, and this is what I tell the people that I got in the conversation with. If you say Wentz is injury prone, okay, I have no data to prove that he's not. He was injured in college, you know what I'm saying? He's been injured in the pros to the point where as many times as his team has made the playoffs, this was his first ever playoff appearance. But nothing about this particular play furthers that narrative. Like, he didn't go out because he twisted his ankle or his ligament popped or, he broke his leg. This doesn't tell you that he's durable or not durable. I mean, some of that other stuff may have already given you enough to make that distinction. But this is happening to anybody. And we're living in a time where they're not allowing you to go back on the field after you got off the field and said you was Batman. So
there's very few human beings who Jadeveon Clowney would basically American History X and tell him to bite the curb that wouldn't have ended up with a concussion like that. Like, that's not.
And that's the thing. A lot of people who probably have no athletic experience whatsoever. It didn't even look like he hit him that hard. Well, go look up how much that dude weighs. Like, he don't have to. He don't have to Jack Lambert. He hit him in the back of the head, like your brain moving around in your skull. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot.
Not just that. He hit him in the back of the head, then his head bounced off the front of the turf. Like,
you were telling me he didn't even hit him that hard. I'm like, you got to be crazy right now. You got to be crazy. Now,
I just know that
we've addressed the dirtiness. We've addressed the people.
Man.
Yeah, we've addressed two sides of it.
What I'm saying is, for those out there who's
I can't even hear you, John. I think something was wrong. You're just cutting in and out.
Oh, I don't know what. Yeah, my bad. I don't
go
know
ahead.
But listen, what I'm saying is, with American History X, for those that haven't seen it, go watch what Austin's talking about biting the curb, yo. That's like the most violent thing in the history of cinema.
Yo.
I'm probably exaggerating, but still.
Yo, that was it was. It definitely was, and that's probably why they didn't directly show it. But can you imagine that? Getting curb stomped like
biting
that,
the curb.
mouth on the curb.
Yo!
All right, so I got one more group of people to acknowledge here, to basically have a few bars for, and that's the Eagles fans who were basically using it as an excuse. Well, hold on. Wait. That's twofold as well. Huh?
I already know in that injury situation, I already know why you weren't particularly upset and I wasn't particularly upset. Like, no, we hope Carson Wentz is okay, but I already kind of know where you're about to go. Come on, man.
No, because that's twofold as well. Because I would like to see him finish the game and see if he could pull some of the magic that he's pulled for the last 4 weeks. No doubt about that whatsoever. My kind of beef, if there is one, is with the people who were just basically screaming for a flag. Like, it wasn't even penalized. Okay, it wasn't, and that's not fair. But I'm like, okay, if it is penalized, then Josh McCown is still your quarterback. Carson Wentz is still sitting in the locker room thinking he in the Batmobile. So we get the penalty. What, it might move us up close enough to get an extra field goal, and we lose by 5 instead of 8. Like, I mean, you never know what happens because different things lead to different things in a game like football. But when you can say in the same breath, it should have been penalized, and you never know what's going to happen, that kind of stuff. Like I said, unless it doesn't happen altogether, that's the only way that we're seeing Carson Wentz finish that game. The fact that it happened, a penalty is not really going to help you. So for me, like, I wasn't sitting back dwelling on the fact for too long that there wasn't a penalty, even though the argument could be made if he gets ejected, maybe, just maybe, the offense could do a little bit more because he made some big plays, late in that game that stopped some drives that we were. But I'm coming from a place where, I have to see it to believe it. I just didn't really think any of those drives were going to finish off in touchdowns, and none of them did. So there's no proof that, had he been ejected, had he been penalized, that anything was going to change. The only way that anything in that game may have gone differently is if it never happened in the first place. It happened.
Yeah.
Carson, Eagles' best player out of the game. Hey, he's probably a folk hero in his locker room.
It's a toss-up as to which one of those trash teams advances to get thrashed in the following game. I'm concerned about Carson's health only. This was one of those seasons where we backed into the playoffs. Carson played great, but quite honestly, what are we doing in the playoffs? And who are we doing it against? We wasn't doing that. So, I hope he's healthy.
Like I said going in, we had the best possible matchup that we could have picked out of the hat. The only team I think we had a chance to beat in the first round. And, that's how they like to play. They mucked it up. Like I said, it was the exact same score from the regular season contest, 17-8. So it's not like their offense could garner much either, except for the fact that when they needed something, Russell Wilson and the offense always delivered. 3rd and long, they killed the Eagles. Like, in the last drive, when the Eagles were, down to their last 3 timeouts, stop them the first 2 plays, 3rd and long, they get it when they have to have it, game over. Like, it's not pretty, but it works. Let's go to the phone line. We got the homie Rob from Cali on the line. I'm pretty sure you want to spit a couple bars about this situation. Rob, what's going on, man?
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing, man?
Pretty good. Did
Doing
you think the
great,
Clowney hit was dirty, or did you think it was just a part of football?
It was over. When that hit happened, yes, it was dirty. I think he is a dirty player. I don't have evidence to prove that he's dirty. A dirty player, but you know what? He's dirty to me. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? He's dirty. I think I knew it was over. I just had a dull look on my face the whole time they were playing. I didn't no respect to Josh McCown, but I knew it was over. It was
different than your normal look.
Huh?
Yeah, and the thing is, Josh McCown gave it everything he had. You know what I'm saying? For a while, like, I'm sitting here like old head need to stop running because he's gonna snap his hamstring. A couple plays later, he holding on to his hamstring, and when we need it, he can't muster it because he done already snapped his old ass hamstring. But he left it all out in the field. No beef with him whatsoever. He got thrown into a situation he didn't expect to get thrown in. He damn near almost didn't last. We almost had Greg Ward playing quarterback in a playoff game. I kind of wanted to see it. Greg Ward been magical over the last 4 weeks. Maybe he would have pulled something out of his hat, but who knows?
I wanted Greg Ward to go in at quarterback.
So moving forward, Rob, at least not yet, not the people that you called for to get fired having, but the offensive coordinator, he's gone, and the wide receivers coach is gone. It's kind of shame. It's kind of a shame that the wide receivers coach got fired. Like, what did he do wrong?
It's not. No, it's
what did he do wrong?
He was born. That's what he did wrong.
He's supposed to keep them He's not a doctor. He's a coach. What is he supposed to do about Deshaun getting hurt?
What are you supposed to do about?
It doesn't matter.
Alshon getting hurt? Like, what is he supposed to do about that?
Dev. We are not. How come? It's just like y'all. People should look at the interview with Dante Whitner when he's talking about. He was criticizing the Redskins, but he was criticizing the coaching. He said people don't know how to develop players anymore. Some of these coaches just get their jobs because they have a friend. You know,
these wide receivers should have already been developed.
What players? Our whole wide receiving core got injured for the season. What players? If player 19, player 16, if they haven't stepped up for the last 3 weeks, I don't know who has. So I think he deserves some extra props for these dudes that we don't even know coming in and helping us back into the playoffs. Like, you just one of them fans, anything goes wrong, you just want people to lose their jobs. You're not even trying to look into what's really good.
They were playing better than Nelson Aguilar. That one dude, I think there was this one play that was called back, but I think his name was Davis.
So if you got practice squads dudes playing better than a starter, how does he get fired? How does that support your logic that you agree with the wide receivers coach getting fired? You just told us that practice squads dudes play better than a starter. So should he not get any credit for developing the backups? Should he not? By your logic, make up your mind.
Doug should get that credit. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Mike Goff is a great wide receivers coach. He was the wide receivers coach last year. He should never got that job. They should have gave that job to Deuce. Deuce is good. I don't give a damn what anybody says. Yes, he was a running backs coach, but look at the running backs he coached. LaShawn McCoy.
So you're saying Deuce should have got the wide receivers coaching job? What the fuck are you talking about, Rob?
No, I'm talking about Mike Goff should never been there. You're not listening to me. Mike Goff should never.
You talking about Mike
there.
Groh, the offensive coordinator? So you're arguing with me about time out. You're arguing with me about two different coaches. We just had a 5-minute argument about wide receivers coaches. You said the wide receiver coach, yes, should have got fired. We haven't even addressed Mike Groh yet. Because I don't disagree with Mike Groh losing his job. The offense was trash when it was at full speed. But you said you also agree with the wide receivers coach. He's not developing players. How does the wide receivers coach who doesn't have any wide receivers get fired? How is that his fault? We haven't even – so you talking about two different coaches. Mike Groh don't coach the wide receivers, bro.
He used to coach the wide receivers. He used to coach.
So I'm asking you, why should the wide receivers coach get fired?
To me, he's not irrelevant right now. I don't. You know what? He should never have been there in the first place. To be honest, he should never have been there. He should never have been there. They should have kept Mike Groh at that position.
Hey,
now,
Mike. Hey, Rob. Why you keep talking about Mike Groh, dog? I asked you about the wide receivers coach. Do you know who the wide receivers coach is?
Man, I got a lot of stuff going through my head because I'm gonna talk about the Iran thing. I got folk. I got.
All right, move on, brother, move on.
All right, go ahead, because
no,
this ain't going well for you.
But with the Eagles, but the depth. Okay, other than the wide receivers, which we know it's injuries, but the secondary. Actually, Devin B. Austin. Actually, all y'all with the DBs. How, especially B. Austin, because I know you're a skills guy, analytics skills guy. How could you sit there and say that the detriment of the DBs or even the unexplosiveness of the skilled players is not the coach's fault? How are you going to sit there and say that when
because at what point are you going to blame the GM? When coaches get fired, it's usually a cop-out because the GM didn't give them any damn talent to begin with. But Howie ain't going to fire himself, is he?
Right.
No.
Right.
So he's going to blame it on some position coaches. He's going to get some of these coordinators out of here. And you agree with that kind of stuff. It's excuses.
You know what?
Like, what DB did we have that was supposed to be good? Tell me that. Besides the ones Howie told you was going to be good when he drafted them.
Sidney Jones.
Rob, Come on,
who was supposed to be good. Rasul Douglas was a good talent. Jalen
Dude,
Mills
you making
trash.
stuff up now.
Darby is trash.
Because you know what? Because you're going to go down the list and say all of them are supposed to be talent. Sidney Jones had the biggest upside out of everybody. He's the one that they were excited about. But why were you excited about Sidney Jones? Because Howie drafted him and told you to be excited about him. Sidney Jones was drafted injured.
Darby, he was drafted. He was definitely drafted injured. Darby is a thrower. Darby's really a throwaway who's overachieving. Who's the starter bull? Number 41 converted to twin, came from Buffalo. Darby.
That's Darby.
Darby is not a throw. I'm sorry,
but I think we had
Douglas is the throwaway. Darby is actually injured, but even when he's not injured, he's a guy that should be a number 2 or a number 3, and he'll thrive. As a number 1,
he gets targeted all the time as a number 1.
He gets targeted because I don't.
Ready for that.
He ain't. The boy that dyes his hair green, he should be on the practice squad. He knows he should be on the practice squad.
Do you ever have any other answers but fire this coach, fire that coach? How about get rid of some of these trash ass players? How about that?
No, you
ain't gonna never hold Howie Roseman accountable for any of this. It's always the coaches.
I would say both. Because I do agree. I do agree with that concept. Like yes,
but then with no proof, you believe that Deuce is Bill Belichick.
No proof. It's like dude,
coach running back.
Dude, we know
he coaches running back.
He coaches running backs in a league that don't give a shit about running backs no more.
Are you kidding?
How we know he Belichick? I hope he get it. I hope Deuce gets a chance.
Dev, why do we win a Super Bowl, Dev? Why do we win a Super Bowl?
Not because of Deuce.
Super Bowl?
Because we kicked everybody's ass that year.
We had a good running game. We
won the Super Bowl because of running backs?
We had
I'm about to bang on you guys. I'm about to bang on you guys. Wait, the 2017 Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl because of running backs?
We had the best.
Okay, name me a 1,000-yard back from that team. Name me a
1,000-yard back.
Name me one of those.
Rushing attack. That's how good our rushing attack is because we had two. We shared the bread. We had 2 running backs running up the gut with 2 dreadlock powers.
How many yards they rushed for in the Super Bowl?
Oh gosh!
Or were they lighting that shit up in the air? All right, you said you had something about the Rams, man.
Because it forced
you don't know much about the Eagles.
It forces you see that's how do you do that? How do you so a brother intelligence? I'm trying to drop some stuff, man. Come on, man.
What intelligence? What intelligence, bro?
Go listen to Philly Sports Radio. We soft. You listen to that and probably leave there like in shock.
What are you talking about? What Philly Sports Radio? What the hell?
I'm telling you to go listen to that. You hear how Philly Sports Radio really talk to people. We don't say anything to you that's out of line and you all offended. Oh, my God, you insult my intelligence. You're insulting your own intelligence saying that stuff you're saying. You sitting here, you just told us that the 27 Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl because of running backs. So that's why Deuce.
And then you want Deuce to be a head coach. Because of that.
Coordinator. He's already assistant head coach, by the way.
Okay, but they picked up good running backs that complemented each other. They had like a 4-headed monster. So Deuce did that. See, and that's the thing. I ain't trying to crap on Deuce, but you sitting here like, okay, like tell me exactly what he did.
He helped develop running backs, whether it be LaShawn McCoy, whether it be polishing Darren Sproles a little bit, put him in the right.
We gotta go, man.
He helped develop Darren Sproles.
Okay.
Darren Sproles was 65 years old when he joined the Eagles. He helped develop Darren Sproles.
And Deuce, Darren Sproles was in the league when Deuce was playing. What are you talking about?
He was a Pro Bowler before he got to the Eagles. LeGarrette Blount was a Super Bowl winning running back before he got to the Eagles.
All right, talk about Iran, Rob. Iran, because we running out of this conversation. What's the next topic, man?
We didn't go to the wide receivers to who he's supposed to get. But
Iran, brother.
Okay, okay. I get. I got a lot of my skin. A lot of people on my social media, all because I picked, not picked, but all because I said instead of praying for the troops, pray for peace. And all these, all my friends who I know are military personnel, they all got mad. And
What you expect them
Of
to do,
course
right?
they did.
I'm about to
And
say
I'm
I don't
listening-
necessarily disagree with you, but when you voice that out loud, what do you expect troops? What do you expect military to do? They're going to take
like
it personal, Rob, because they've been over there.
And it's like I told people, and they got mad, because I said this is true. The military to me is voluntary slavery. Like when people when people no, it's true, because once you join,
Yo, Rob, you take stuff too far, man. Come on, man.
Rob, you know what? It's funny. It's funny too, Rob, because it's not even like we disagree, but you don't provide enough context and explanation for people to really. You're
Which
saying
is
like
why they're
shock
getting
value
mad
things.
at you. That's what we're telling you. Like, we don't necessarily disagree with you, but like the way you're putting that, like, because you're telling me, I've seen the posts. I've seen you arguing with the homie Tobias. I've seen all of that stuff. Like, the way you put things and the context that you leave out, they're going to get mad, Rob. Like, these people, whether we like the reasons or not, like, their life is on the line every time. So they're just looking at it from that perspective. They can't, like, when they're idiot leaders, and I'm saying leaders with an S, because I'm not just talking about Trump, I'm talking about every president who's ever sat in the Oval Office. When their leaders send them in harm's way for some personal vendetta or some greedy reason, they can't just say no, right? Like, they can't say, nah, I ain't going.
But no, but I don't necessarily agree with like voluntary slavery. That's a bit harsh, B.
That's harsh as hell. Thank you, Jimmy, for distinguishing that. Clarify that. Like, we ain't talking about
it's
that.
Not true. It's not. It's true. A lot of times people go for the opportunity that provides them. Man, it's not voluntary slavery. I can make the same argument for going to college. That's voluntary slavery because you're enslaved to debt for most of your life.
There's a difference between being in debt and then if you don't go off to fight the war, you go to prison. You know what I'm saying? So that's slavery in itself. So
I mean,
listen,
man.
But Rob, you can't. It's not like people in our day and age are getting drafted.
Because
so if you join voluntarily, you can't say nah when something jump off. Like, you can't just get in and be like, all right, like you don't know that there's a chance that you might be in combat one day. So you can't get in and get all the perks of the military, and then a conflict jumps off, and you're like, oh no, I'm not going over there. I just got in here to get money for school. Like, it don't work that way.
I can't support any military conquest. I mean that's just how I feel. Like,
and you don't have to. But what these people are talking to you about, you don't have to support the reasoning behind what they have to do. They're just trying not to be disrespected on a personal level because they have to do it. Like, you got to understand the distinction between that. You have to support what they're doing, but you also can't disrespect them. Like, I don't know what you're saying, but just for instance, if somebody was like, man, F everybody in the military because of what they're doing.
I didn't take it that far. I just said I'm just not.
You wanted to, though.
They might take the slavery comment as saying that.
Stop double talking, be awesome ass man. Stop, man. Like, no, I didn't go there. Like, I understand that, but I'm just trying to tell people that think about the other side. For instance, I had a friend who had to leave Iraq, when before the invasion came and became a refugee and went to Australia. So it's like, think about how you think that person feels about U.S. troops. Like, come on now. Like, people have to think about the other opposition. Like,
no, I mean, you say people have to. No, they don't. That's the one thing. Second thing is this, right? I was dead serious when I said about being in debt, man. And just because you said debt's not slavery, let me tell you something. It was Andrew Jackson who said a man that goes into debt becomes a slave. And you know the crazy thing about Andrew Jackson saying that, Rob? Andrew Jackson had real slaves.
He owned slaves. He owned slaves.
You the same with this debt that you owe. You the same as my niggas.
Yo.
It's a family program.
Tell Andrew Jackson to stop owning slaves.
All I'm saying is that is a form of slavery, man. But and you saying they should care about? You can't tell people who to care about, man. I
know. Brian talking about that.
I
feel like Navi and Kunta Kinte every month.
Listen, you talking about you should care about like
send me that money, boy.
People to care about other people, man. Like some people are brainwashed by this country so much they don't care about no other country or their people. You can't tell them. The fact of the matter is, I don't have to care about anybody. I'm not talking about myself because my opinions are my opinions. But you can't force your opinion on somebody, Rob.
Rob, put it this way, Rob.
I understand.
I'll put it this way. I'll put it this way before we gotta go, because we gotta go, man. We've been on the line for like 20 minutes, man. It's too much for one call. But look, if I can help it, because people grow up and make their own decisions. If I can help it, no child of mine will ever join the military, ever, if I can help it. But at the same time, it's not like I can't, I can't respect a troop when I see him and bless him and whatever you got to do, because you do know. I mean, there's a lot of people in there, like Jimmy, there's a lot of people in there that's brainwashed, and they're G.I. Joe gung-ho about whoever they got to kill and why they got to do it. But it's a lot of people in there that's just following orders because they don't really have a choice. Once you get in, you don't have a choice. So you got to,
honestly, right?
You got to.
And honestly, I come from a family where my grandfather was in the military, my father as well as my uncle, but they made those sacrifices so I could go to college and didn't have to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so at the end of the day, and I'm not taking up, like, you can have your belief, Rob, but you can't expect other people to have your belief. Some people like that.
Rob,
Hove did that, so hopefully you ain't have to go through that.
Rob, I'm gonna say this. What you're doing is you're mistaking institution, culture, and individual people, right? So your political views may be similar to mine pertaining to the institution and pertaining to the culture. But you have to allow for the individual in understanding their circumstances and the context surrounding their lives. There are people that come from, example, not to poop on Flint, Michigan, but we're going to use Flint, Michigan. They're below the poverty line. The military is their only way out, and they may or may not have knowledge of self and an understanding of why they should not serve that institution and that culture and what that means. That's a positive way out. So there's men and women in the military, they honestly, I'm not, and it's not a shot at, they don't know any better. And you have to allow for that. There are people that genuinely believe that they're actually fighting for freedom and fighting for, there may not be much of an excuse to believe that in 2020, but there have been times throughout history where people were fighting for something and they didn't realize that it wasn't really the agenda of the leadership that they fought for. They're genuinely trying to do the right thing.
But then on the other hand, you also have people who use that as a way to get ahead and who have done so, used it to go to college, who've used it to put their family in a better position. So, like, my whole thing is you can't keep people on everything. And shout out to Tobias. People like Tobias who do it so they can date white women. Like, you have people with all sorts of reasons for wanting to go into the military. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you can't people on everybody, man. Right? You gotta understand that people have their own reasons, man. And shout out to my brother Tobias. You know it's all love, good brother, but you know what it is.
I know he called the Kyrie, but I know he was like that, but.
Hey.
I do. I want to touch on this because people forget, and I want to touch one more thing before I go because I know as other callers, people forget that when I wrote, I call for protests of people of all branches, no matter if they're military, no matter if they're on the military, against just going to war. That's what I call for. I didn't just to just go crap on the whole idea.
I feel you, Rob. I'm just and this is just advice. Like, you're grown, you can do what you want. We're just saying, you know what I'm saying, if you feel a certain way, then like B. Austin said, maybe just direct your vitriol at the institution and not necessarily the individuals. Because they see you say that, of course they're gonna get mad at you. If you bring it down to an individual level. We got to roll, man. We holler at you next week.
Rob.
Just keep listening, though. Jimmy going to say something, but we holler at you next week.
Rob,
go,
I just want to tell you that those soldiers are the reason you're able to go online and slander those soldiers. What's the ill? How ill is that?
They fighting for your freedoms, man.
They fighting for you.
Freedom isn't free. It's a heavy S&P.
I can't even front on how much I hate that damn saying. We're fighting for your freedoms. All right, man. All right.
Freedom isn't free. It's a hefty F&P.
Then hand me some of that free oil. Like, come on, man. But shout out to everybody who got to put their life on the line, man. Like I said, for me, it ain't about you. It's about your leaders.
Yo, man, it ain't about you, man, but word up, man. Shout out A-Train Gangsta Crip and shout out to the South Side, man.
All right, man. We supposed to have Fred on like 15 minutes ago. Yo, Rob is a whole segment. And then still be getting mad at us when we got to go and we just cut the call. Dude.
Unintentionally so.
That's why I told him, listen to, like, he think, like, something harsh going on here. Dude, call Howard Eskin. He'd have cut you off 45 seconds into the conversation. He would have cursed at you.
He'd have called you.
He would have called you names. He would have called you all kinds of idiots. Like, yo, this ain't harsh, man. All right, let's real quick, Fred. I know you're waiting, man. Let's get Tobias on because I know he want to say something, and he gonna be mad that his time got to get cut short because of Rob. But Tobias, what's going on, man?
Good Lord, man. You talking about going in circles there. But anyway,
man, we try to cut Rob off, and then he'll switch the subject, and then
there's a button called hang up. Sometimes you gotta make it a second decision. Sounds Trump. But here's the thing.
He'll switch it to an interesting topic. Rob knows what he's doing. Good.
You know what? I don't really argue with Rob about that, but it's like, here's the thing, and I think Rob doesn't get it, is that I'm talking about black folks here, not the white people, black folks. 8 out of 10 did it because they ain't got no other option. That was including me. It wasn't about no patriotism. Right. And what happens, you gotta play, and you gotta play the game, because if you get dishonorable or even maybe a general discharge, you won't get that VA loan or that GI Bill money and stuff like that, where you can pass on your GI Bill to your kids. You're the white now, and so you got to play the game, because I used to be a recruiter, right? You go to the hood. You ain't recruiting nobody out the burbs. They don't need it, because
I'm about to say you go to where people think they don't have other options.
And the option
way to recruit.
Yeah.
So it's like you either slinging crack rock, you got a wicked jump shot, or you're spraying the AR-15. Like either one.
Listen, man, you go to the people's occupational. You go to people's occupational option of getting blow with some hose. And the fact of the matter is, I know some people who that was actually the greatest thing they did was join the military. That's why I said, like, you can't just, like, with a broad stroke just say some of the stuff Rob says, man. I know people right now who are sitting on a lot of bread, and it's because they made the decision to go to the military and not saddle themselves with 6 figures of debt. You know what I mean?
And you know what? Here's the thing also, and I had to touch on sports.
I know boys
quick,
that ain't too bright sitting on a lot of bread because they went to the military.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I think, shout out to,
never mind.
I gotta say this before I touch on sports real quick. One, if you're a civilian working at Lockheed Martin, you're still working for the establishment. Cause you building those jets and those like that and Boeing. You building those weapons. You're a civilian anyway. You still doing. Yeah. So that's a broad stroke, but also like with me, they're paying. I use my GI Bill to pay for the cybersecurity certificate. I'm gonna sit on a lot of money, and my now ex-girlfriend gonna see me balling with some other chick. tell y'all about that offline. But about sports, right? I know y'all people talk about Rob makes like the Eagles. Here's the thing: if the Dallas Cowboys then underachieved, the Eagles weren't supposed to be there with all those injuries they had. To be honest,
Dallas supposed to be 12-4. We ain't supposed to be nowhere near a playoff.
But here's the thing: Carson Wentz impressed me a lot this year. The way he did with those lack of receivers. That he may not won a Super Bowl, but he really showed me a lot, and I think that was the thing. But they gonna need a backup quarterback because he has injury. But you still got to roll with the guy in those receivers. It's like, dude, what do you want the coach to do? He got us out there running around.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand. I definitely understand the offensive coordinator getting fired because nobody really wanted him in the first place. They were just, Frank Reich left, so they like, man, he was on his staff, just give him the job. But like, okay, you fire him because the offense underachieved even before all the injuries hit. But it's like the wide receiver coach, like really? Why did he lose his job? Yeah, I don't get it.
You know what? It's like one thing. There's a guy to keep an eye on, Brashad Perriman of Tampa. He came on late half of the year. He's a speed threat. Maybe somebody you guys can have because I don't think Tampa can afford him. But I know a lot of people talk about
he used to play for Washington.
No, he's a play for Baltimore and Cleveland. He was on his somehow a guy on his third team and Ricky Dill could run fast. He's finally playing good. But
okay. I know who I was talking about. I think I was talking about
Yeah,
that's somebody else.
But everybody talking about these like the black coaches not getting hired and stuff. And it's like my dad, he keeps a tally on when they fired a good black coach to hire the mediocre white coach, and they don't do no better. Like Jimbo Fisher ain't did no better than Sumlin. Matt Patricia did worse than Jim Caldwell in Detroit. And it's like my thing is, and this is where I think people like Rob miss on, was that we don't have that wealth structure where we could have bought a Pittsburgh Steelers $4,300 like they did back in the day. The Rooney family did way back when. Mm-hmm. We didn't have the $4,300 then, and we know why. So we could hire our own, who in turn could hire their own, put them on. That's why I always respect Tony Dungy. Look at how many black coaches that was in his tree.
Tony Dungy looked out.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And that's what we need also with those black coaches when they get hired. Give them a shot, because I keep hearing, like, for example, and I'm going to switch I'm kind of jumping sports basketball. They keep talking about Michael Jordan, right? He hired these unqualified black people. Damn it. He gave them a shot. Hell, the Chicago Bulls got Gar Forman and John Paxson for 15 years. What the hell they did? They aren't qualified to keep a job.
But you said that. It goes throughout all levels, though. It goes to ownership. It goes to executives.
GM.
There's one black GM in the entire NFL. And
he hired a black guy.
He hired a black coach. Yeah. I mean, so it's like, it goes above that, man. Like, and you're right. We didn't have the money to buy those franchises. The thing is, we control black bodies. We have all the talent, but we don't have any. That was the premise of that whole $40 million playbook.
If we really want to get deep, which we don't have time for, this is the reason why.
Thanks, Rob.
This is the reason why desegregation wasn't even a big deal for us.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The lines and the culture is already established. They know their place.
And I say this last thing before I run, because I know y'all can get to Fred and everything. And thanks, Fred, for being patient, man. I know, and like people talking about the running game and stuff, like the passing league. The running game is not dead because it controls the game. And it's like last week with the Titans. Tannehill did jack squat last Saturday night. But I don't think he threw for 100 yards. But Derrick Henry controlled the game. And plus the Titans defense showed up. And there was a stat saying most of the best rushing teams made the playoffs. And the top passing teams didn't make the playoffs.
It damn sure ain't dead. It damn sure ain't dead. But it also damn sure ain't, the primary reason that the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
It wasn't, man. And
he skipped over a whole lot of stuff. And it's not even that, because I'm not saying, because it was one of the reasons. They, like I said, they had like a four-headed monster at running back. They threw a lot out of the backfield. It's just this push. And if people would just go ahead and say it, like, yo, I want Deuce to get a job because he's black and he's been on the staff. But don't, like, it's not just Rob. It's a lot of Eagles fans that's beating people in the head about how great of a coach Deuce is. I'm like, how the hell do y'all know how good of a coach a running back coach is? They don't get a chance to shine, so how the hell do you know how good of a coach a running backs coach is?
You bump him up.
Like, we put Deuce as an OC, and he might flame out. We have no clue.
Yeah,
I'll be happy for him if he got a shot because he's black. I ain't going to sit here and say because he's Bill Belichick.
With that being said, I want Deuce to get a job because he's black. I'm just going to put it out there.
I want Deuce to get a job because he's black. Not because I think he's Bill Belichick, because I have no clue what Deuce does.
I think Fred made the not Fred, I apologize, Tobias. I didn't mean to call you, but I think with Tobias, the point you made a couple minutes ago was an excellent point, because let's keep it at Deuce, right? If Deuce gets put in the position of power, what's he going to do with it? It's like the equivalent of, people always say support black business, but if you give your money to a black business and they're not hiring black folks or putting money back, what did you really do? And that's how coaches and GMs have to approach it too. We already talked about Tony Dungy and impact, because most of the guys that got it after the fact, he put a lot of people. Most of the guys that got
Tony Dungy put a lot of people on. He did his thing with his opportunities.
All of the guys they got is like, yo, and also Denny Green, because he didn't Dungy come from Denny Green? I'm trying to think which one came from the other, but Denny Green.
Dungy came from Denny Green. Yeah, Dungy was on his defensive coordinator. I remember that. Yeah. And
so Denny Green, but it all goes back to that one guy getting opportunity and putting other people on. So, it's the same thing. Like, I want Deuce to get it, but if Deuce gets it, I want Deuce just to give other people out, because it's all about opportunity, man.
Right, because even if he gets like an OC position, like, okay, his running backs coach, his receivers coach, all them dudes, he got, he could put some people on if they give him that power.
You can't tell me that we can't coach. Like, that whole thing of, listen, we already taken over the quarterback position. We've taken that over. And you can't tell me that we can't coach. We play against the highest levels, whether at every position. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell me that we can't coach and we can't motivate other men. Like, it's BS.
Look, well, hold up, because this was the next topic anyway. I'm gonna bring Fred on to get in on this topic, and then he can give us a quick preview of the national championship game, and then we'll do our NFL awards. Fred. And we got Fred Purdue on with us from Locked On
MAGA, so
Canes podcast. He's going to talk a little NFL with us and a little college football. All right. So keep going, Jimmy. My bad. I just had to introduce Fred.
I was just saying, considering Fred roots for the MAGA team, he probably don't want no black guys to get opportunity. Like, Fred, keep them all out of guys, man.
Fred, as soon as you get on, Jimmy killing you.
Fred said, give us some more white expatriate players.
Fred, you there? Fred,
now he didn't want to mess with us.
Hey, I got to run, though, but I'll say this. Hey, I got to run, but I'll say thanks for taking my call as usual, and I got to eat. Hey, and look, my worst nightmare is Alabama fan. We got televangelist Billy Graham, Light Dabo Swinney over there on one side, and the Cookie Monster Eric Orgeron on the other. But it does sound like the Cookie Monster when he talks, by the way. But, hey, you guys have a great weekend, fellas. You guys take it easy, man.
All right, you too, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, and I just want to say,
Fred dropped. So, all right, Fred, call back in. So let's continue that though, because
real quick though, Dev, I just want to make a statement that is, as an Alabama fan, Tobias, your worst nightmare should be going to a game and leaving when it's dark out and having to go home by yourself. But that's either here nor there.
Get over here,
right,
boy. Boy, what you doing, boy? What you doing in this neighborhood?
So it had, of course, is disproportionate the rate at which the NFL is hiring black head coaches. We had 3 teams hire coaches this week, and a lot of them did it pretty quickly. I'm pretty sure they got their little Rooney Rule candidates out of the way. I don't even know if Jerry Jones did that. Jerry Jones probably said, F your Rooney Rule, I'll do what I want. But the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, Before that, the Washington Redskins, I don't even say that word, but they all hired a head coach. The Carolina Panthers hired a head coach. And the only minority head coach and all of that was hired by Washington. But none of the head coaches hired in this past week were black. And I have a stat here. I think in the last 3 seasons, 19 head coaches have been hired, and only 3 of those head coaches, 4 of those head coaches were minorities, and I think 2 of them were black. Anthony Lynn for the Chargers, and wait, that might actually be it. Yeah. Blacks have been hired for 2 of the 19 open head coaching spots over the last 3 years. And there are only 4 minority head coaches in the league, period. So that's Ron Rivera in Washington, Anthony Lynn in Los Angeles, Brian Flores in Miami, and Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. I think in that 3, they're counting the Cardinals coach who they fired after 1 season. So there's only 2 black head coaches in the NFL right now, but 80% of the league are minorities, with most of those minorities, quote-unquote minorities, being black people. So this is the power structure that Jimmy was talking about. Let me get Fred back on. Fred, you there?
Fellas, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yes,
hear you.
make America great again, make Belichick great again.
Again, we have Fred Purdue with us from the Locked On Canes podcast from the Locked On Network. Fred, before we talk about college, we're talking a little bit about the whole coaching hires in the NFL and how, over the last week, a lot of reports are saying that the black candidates are getting a little bit frustrated because they're simply not getting hired. Like, the Rooney Rule was established in 2003. I think a lot of people really didn't understand the Rooney Rule because, there were a lot of people saying, well, this is good for the game but then when you hear them say why, they're saying, because it makes them hire. No, it doesn't make anybody hire anybody. With the Rooney Rule, all you're required to do is interview a quote-unquote minority candidate. Now, even in the early stages, people would look at that and say, well, that's good because these guys are getting in front of GMs and owners that they wouldn't have gotten in front of before, and even if they don't get the jobs, then maybe their name starts circulating down the line for other stuff.
Like
I never
their
really
name
bought
hasn't
that.
been circulating already? Okay.
Yeah, as I'm about to say, I never really bought that whole thing. But, Eric Bieniemy somehow has become the face of this year's Coaches So White, to take something from the hashtag from the Oscars. Coaching hire So White in the NFL, because he is the offensive coordinator of one of the most explosive offenses in the league with the Kansas City Chiefs. But, like, what do you guys think? Do you think it just has something to do with him being black, or do people – because I think sometimes when you have a coach and you're an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator and your head coach is known for whatever you do, I think sometimes that takes away from what people may think of you. So if you're Andy Reid's offensive coordinator, I don't think a lot of people out there are believing that it's you making the offense what it is. Do y'all think there's any merit to that?
Well,
Peterson.
Can I jump in real quick and tell you, Eric Bieniemy isn't the play caller. He's just the offensive coordinator. He's just the consultant.
Right.
And quite honestly, Andy Reid's calling those plays. So that's where you get, and that's where when you have a black coordinator offensively or defensively, are they calling the plays? Brian Flores.
They're not giving them the kind of responsibilities that people would trust, saying like he did that. And Jimmy brought up
Brian
Peterson.
Flores didn't call
I still
plays
don't think Peterson gets a job anywhere but Philly, though, because he's been
I
there.
understand what you're saying.
He's been a coach in Philly. He's been a quarterback in Philly. I still don't even think Peterson gets a job anywhere else.
And
a head coaching job anywhere else but Philly. He's going to get retread now when he gets fired, but I don't think he would have got the opportunity.
How many white offensive coordinators that were coaches under Andy Reid have gotten jobs? like guys that have held that same position, but they're white. It's more than one. It's more than Peterson.
Oh yeah,
he just came to mind because he's a local guy. Yeah, so my point is like,
and that's what I'm saying.
Like,
that's why I'm asking you guys your opinion. Like, do you think it's
no? I'm saying that because the way
because they're black, or do you think it's because
like, you said he's not calling plays? He's just a consultant. I mean, well, so were all the white guys that were offensive coordinators in Andy Reid. They were,
and I get it,
quote unquote consultants too. It didn't affect them.
You know what? I look at this as the pendulum effect. And what I mean by that is there was a time where there was a conscious movement to slight us. Your value as black men is get out there, run, jump, catch. And that's still very much a component of the way American society sees us, especially in the sport of football. But I think at this point, the push to keep us out has subsided, but the damage is done. So it's not good enough to just say, as some folks would say, I don't see color. I only see the human being. No, you can't say that because the damage is done. So you better see color and you better promote something that fixes the damage that's already been done. So I don't think there's a conscious or cognizant move on a lot of people, I'd say even most people's part, to freeze us out. I just say there's not a conscious effort to help us either, and the damage is already done. So a conscious effort needs to be made, and it needs to be more than the Rooney Rule, because the Rooney Rule is just token. Like you said, a guy like Jerry Jones is like, take your Rooney Rule, put it in your butt and squeeze. Like,
and I have the answer to Jimmy's question. Andy Reid has had 10 assistant coaches become head coaches.
Matt Nagy
4
was
of
the last
them,
one.
Yeah, 4 of them were offensive coordinators. Brad Childress, Pat Shurmur, Doug Peterson, and Matt Nagy. So yeah, almost half.
And Matt Nagy might be gone
of his people.
Year.
So it's like at some point, if they believed in them, at some point they need to believe in Eric Bieniemy and give him a job.
I just said that because the way you said it was kind of like demeaning. Like, he's a consultant. He's not even calling plays. Like, so were all the other guys.
It's a lot of it is skill set. It's more so. A lot of times, if you name the guys that you went back on, Brad Childress, quarterback coach. Matt Nagy, quarterback coach. Eric Bieniemy isn't the quarterback coach. So that's where a lot of it is. You're the offensive coordinator, and then
that's true. All 4 of these dudes have quarterback experience.
They're quarterback
coaches.
And granted,
so that's just the favoritism of the league right now. If you can control the quarterback, you can control such and such. Yeah.
And a lot of times these guys, like a Matt Nagy, he got put in a bad situation by already having Mitch Trubisky. So it's like, is he a bad coach, or does he have or does he have damaged goods quarterback? So it's kind of one of those. It's one of those things. He could get fired simply because of the team's record. He has a good defense, a bad quarterback. How many
African Americans are given the opportunity to even be a quarterback coach in this league? What I'm saying is, it's just that we can sit around and we could find reasons for anything. Like, you can find a reason.
So, okay, I'll spin it this way. I'll spin it to you like.
But the question becomes, Jimmy, is it a legitimate reason versus just a reason that stood up as sort of a straw argument? I kind of get where Fred's coming from.
No. It's not a straw argument, because the fact of the matter is,
this way.
We got history. You have history on your side. You can look at the amount of African American players versus those that are coaches, versus those that are GM executives, versus those. Let's not even go higher. Let's not even get to the ownership rank.
Jimmy, I get it. In the wider scope of things, we've been done dirty, and because of who we are and what we represent to the broader sphere of sports, we need to be in the ownership. We need to be in management. Because of who and what we are. But I think in this day and age right now, it's kind of, you're looking at a league that's been damaged, and the damage is kind of, quote unquote, no longer being done or not actively done. But that still doesn't mean it doesn't need to be repaired. So I get you. I'm there. Man. In the case of an Eric Bieniemy, I get where Fred is coming from in the sense that it's in both.
I don't even necessarily agree with that, though, that is not still being done. But let's just say, for argument's sake, I go along with it, man. It was Honorable El Hajj Malik El Shabazz who said, listen, if you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and you pull it out 6, did you really do me a favor? Like, what are you really doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. And whenever you quote the brother minister, it's something righteous being said. So I got you. I get that.
I'll kind of spin it like this, Jimmy, though. Spin it like this, Jimmy. Think about it like this too. You have a guy in Tampa and Byron Leftwich, who he gets an opportunity to be the offensive coordinator. He's actually the play caller. He's a co-play caller with Bruce Arians, and he's the quarterback coach. And they brought him in specifically to quote unquote fix Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston threw more interceptions this year than he did. But that's my point. Byron Leftwich was a good. Hold on. Byron Leftwich was a okay quarterback, but the problem is you don't get the production out of the player that you're coaching, and you were supposed to fix him. So, what do you expect?
First off,
I don't have a problem with.
Jimmy. So I know where Jimmy's going to go. The argument is going to be that a ton of white coaches have been allowed to be mediocre or even fail forward. So why can't Byron Leftwich fail forward?
And even beyond that, that's one point. Second point is Jameis Winston is bald. He's got to cut down on the turnover. But
he's balling.
That's my second point. But the matter is, Fred, you know what you sound like now? You sound like a Patriots fan. All I'm going to say.
Well, I can't get anything out, so I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I can't get anything out, so.
You can get something out, brother.
Great, Fred, make your point so we can move on to this national championship game real quick, and then do our.
Jimmy just in his feelings because his team sucks, but hey, okay.
Explain.
Jimmy ain't got no team no more.
Okay. Explain Cliff Kingsbury. Can you explain that one for me?
No, I really can't. That one.
Breaking news. Joel Embiid out at least 1 to 2 weeks. He's going to have surgery to repair his finger, his ring finger that looked like he was smoking a blunt the other night.
My man finger was in a 90-degree angle. That shit was a L.
Yeah, Kobe would have taped that up though. But anyway, let's
explain Cliff Kingsbury.
Or he would have shot left-handed. He did.
Oh. Y'all still going?
Yo.
Let me know.
Can you explain Cliff Kingsbury? Or how about Adam Gase, who got an opportunity and then went around and told everybody
against every single one of those coaches. But I'm against all of those. I'm against all of those coaches getting hired. I'm against Matt Rule getting hired in Carolina also. But again, at the same time, I'm not for elevating a guy just for the sake of elevating a guy. If you're gonna go get a guy. And Eric Bieniemy, I know that's a great name, but if you want, the NFL's been banging on Stanford's door for the longest, trying to get David Shaw. David Shaw says, I can stay at Stanford. I can be a god at Stanford because, well, I'm at Stanford. I don't have any expectations. I can win 8 games a year, collect a check, and never get fired.
Dev. Hashtag, what about that?
You're saying don't elevate a guy for the sake of elevating a guy. They do it every day. They just don't do it with specific people.
That's fine, but at the same time, so are
it's
you?
Not fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. Don't say it's.
If you're in control of the Eagles right now, if you fired or whatever team, are you gonna hire Deuce Staley just for the sake of hiring him? For what?
Well, first off,
what
is
that going
to me? So when you hire him and it's gonna look like an HB if I had control of the Eagles.
So when that is, if and when that fails, because you put the wrong people in place,
you're gonna be the Charlotte Hornets.
Because I'm in the business of winning championships.
Listen, we the wrong people to ask because if we ever get a franchise, it's going to be called the Wakandan Panthers.
So, if and when that fails, all of these, there are teams that fail every year.
The Mufassas.
When that fails.
That's what's funny about this.
Can I ask my question, or are you not gonna let me ask?
Yes, you can, sir. Yes, you can.
Okay, brother. Okay, so if
Okay,
or when, I'll even phrase it that if or when that fails, and you as GM are fired, and you don't get another GM job because you did what you did, whose fault is it? Yours, or the people that tried to tell you go hire this guy, regardless of what it is? Whose fault is it? I'll wait.
Well, first off,
negotiate. You got to negotiate the waters and find the balance.
There's a lot of blame to go around.
You got to find the balance.
The fact of the matter is, one of the reasons why I'm probably not getting another job because guys fail. Guys fail all the time in multiple jobs.
At the end of the day,
but only
it's about
certain
making
guys
money
fail
and winning
multiple times.
championships. That's the only two things they care about. Your objective is make money or win championships. Which one are you doing? Are you winning?
Fred, that's true. That's true, but that doesn't negate the history of the league.
Great.
But that doesn't negate the history of the league.
Because Fred, what you're talking about is total BS.
Yo, Phil Maddox
the fact of the matter is,
Phil Maddox said Jimmy had a birds looking like Ghana State.
You already know. But listen, my point is this though, Fred. What you're missing, and it's not just football. This goes across all industries. People are allowed to fail forward left and right. If there's certain people allowed to fail forward left and right, we aren't given that same opportunity. So you say
we sure are.
If and when that fails,
but not every one
it fails
of us
for them
is
all the time.
deserving
There's only
of
one
the
champion
position.
every year. There's one champion
But
every
not
year.
every.
You got certain franchises that
The point, Fred, the point is it's not equal, and you're not using equal, which I get, and I'm not mad at it, but acknowledge that they are getting chances. You're saying,
but you already
saying
know
that we don't.
You're up against. You already know the system that you're up against. So if you know the system that you're up against,
you accept
why are you going to
you
handcuff yourself by hiring a person that you know is not ready or capable or qualified yet?
Because that's how you change, Fred.
Yes.
You know, Fred, what if the king woke up and said, you know what, I'm up against this system. I'm not even going to get up and fight because I know what the system is. So what's the point of you're
comparing civil rights to an NFL team?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Absolutely,
yes, I am.
You are comparing.
Absolutely, yes, I am. Because it's the attitude you have. It's the attitude you have.
No, I'm in the bit. See, if I'm running a team, my objective is winning championships and making money.
I can talk about people that have made a difference in sports, people that have made a difference in the law. What if Tony Dungy would take the same approach and say, you know what? I don't
right. So Jimmy just went to the trump card for your against your argument, Fred, because Tony Dungy is an example of a guy who won, made money, was successful, and Kyrie Jenner ain't got him yet. But he gave you an example of a guy who won, who made money, but still stayed committed to the advancement of African American people in the sport. So
and
it can be done.
I applaud it.
It can be done.
Yeah,
but can you reproduce it? What are his other coaches that have already been there? What are they doing? What are those other
but what I'm
coaches
saying
doing?
what are most coaches in the league doing? That's my point. You keep talking about what are these guys doing. Most coaches in the league aren't doing anything. Fact of the matter.
What are those? Okay, let me rephrase the question. What are those other coaches that got put outside? Even Mike Tomlin, who's still around, who probably should have been out of there a while ago. Being honest,
this is W.E.B. Du Bois. This is W.E.B. Du Bois versus Booker T.
But if one of
basketball
coaches,
game.
what are they? Who are they putting in place doing what Tony Dungy did? What are they doing? I'll wait on that one.
What do you mean? What are they doing? Most black folks
who
that
are they
putting in place? They come from that tree. Even with Miami, Miami's coach was hired by a black GM, right or wrong. But my point is, to you to sit here and say you have to worry. Basically, what you're saying is worry about yourself. Don't worry about anybody else. That's what you're saying. You're saying worry about yourself. You're saying be selfish. That's what
If I'm not in position, Jimmy, and I end up getting fired, and I know I'm never going to get a chance, then I've got to.
Yeah, but we're talking about
exactly.
He said once you get in position, position, you have to do whatever it is to hold on to that position. Is what he said. He said you can't take those to bring other people on if they're going to push you to lose your job.
That's what he said. If I don't have a position, then what good am I to anybody?
But you already have the position in the story.
But how is it sustainable based on the criteria that Fred is saying they're going to hold you to?
Because the fact of the matter is, if no one is willing to do something different or change, nothing will ever change.
I got a better question. I got a better question for both of y'all. What did Marvin Lewis do? Because he was in power for a long time. What did Marvin do?
Speaking of him, Skyview said the Cowboys weren't fooling anybody by floating out there that they were interviewing Marvin Lewis. Hey, that was their Rooney Rule.
Put in position to be great
criteria.
As
say that he had an interview, but we hired somebody first.
Prospect. In all of his time in Baltimore, who did Ozzie Newsome? In my opinion, as far as new age GM, is probably the GOAT when it comes to drafting players. He's definitely DJ Collins, boy, he the best. He the best. Who did he put in position? Just curious.
So what you're telling me is
Lamar.
What you're telling me is there's a medium between where the two of you are arguing from, and that medium, the example is Tony Dungy. It can be done, and the standard, you have to intentionally go out and find African-American candidates that meet your standard, i.e. #hire Pep. Some of y'all won't get that, some of y'all will. But there are candidates out there.
I know who you're talking about. I was a very big time candidate of him, or a person that wanted him in Indy. Didn't happen. But hey,
we wanted him too, probably for nepotism reasons, but we wanted him to be in. But there are examples.
He was a quarterback's coach of somebody who was a very successful quarterback until the injuries hit, and it seemed like his career went backwards.
Yeah,
I was confused about
that.
Definitely.
The problem.
He was bought.
The problem. We have a problem in our community that goes outside of sports, and it's people with that same attitude, which is how we end up with the black bourgeoisie. In shout out to Tobias, you know what I'm talking about. For those that get a little bit of power and they want to hold on to the power, and they want to Euro identify so bad that they don't take the necessary
shooting their brother Fred
to help. I mean, you can shoot all the time. I'm saying that attitude. What I'm saying is that attitude.
But if my job is to win championships and make money, that is my job.
Fred,
if that is my job, I have to stay in position.
So, Fred, the question. Hold on, Jimmy. Hold on, Jimmy. Hold on. The question that I asked. The question that I ask of you, Fred, is can't you identifying those two top things as your priority, then add the third priority to your list and find, are you of the opinion that there are not qualified African-American coaches to fill out your staff?
African-American coaches, plenty
that are good.
Everything you're saying. So everything you're saying is
developed. There are good coaches, but they have to be developed. The only problem is who is in control to develop these same coaches. Hello.
Yo, they got Tony Dungy up out of there.
A lot of them are in high school. A lot of them are at the high school ranks, and they need to go to the college ranks. What happens when you go to the college ranks? You get stuck in college, and you get stuck as a recruiting coordinator. You get stuck as a wide receivers coach, and you don't get that call up. They tell you, oh, you're a superstar coach, and you turn out to be Charlie Strong, and you get pushed to Texas, and then you fail at Texas after you were killing it at Louisville, and then you move on to USF. You get fired at USF after a 4-8 season, and now you're a coordinator for the rest of your life because now no one's going to take you at the NFL. You failed at Texas, and you failed after you went back down to a lower level group of 5 school in USF. So you're not going to the NFL anymore. Here's the thing.
Question. With Charlie Strong,
there's another piece to that. Hold on. So what happens also with these same coaches that get all these opportunities? Oh, I'm gonna take the bad job, so I get fired at the. I'm gonna get fired at the bad job, and now I don't get the opportunity at the good job. Instead of being David Shaw, who says I'll sit at Stanford until the perfect job comes around, where I have the perfect quarterback, perfect upper management, perfect defense, perfect situation. That's what the white coaches do. That's what they do. A lot of them do, and yeah, they may
All
fail.
of them
But
do that.
A lot
though.
of times, though, we don't really get those opportunities. Like, think about it. When black dudes do get hired, especially in the NFL, we kind of get the scrap
but you
franchises,
don't have to take that,
and we don't get that retread like the rest of them dudes. Like, so a lot of them dudes can get fired, doing a poor job. Like, we wouldn't even know Bill Belichick if he was black, because he would have failed at Cleveland. Nobody would have ever trusted him again.
No, my man Hugh in Cleveland did everything he could. He said, I forbid everybody to use the term black. We're all beige. We're all humans. Yo, Hugh did everything he could.
The retread coach, though, comes because of the connection to the next guy.
Because Hugh had the same
Marvin
attitude
Lewis hired that same
that
Hugh
Fred's
Jackson.
talking about.
Failed. He failed.
See, Fred,
Marvin
you're
Lewis
talking
failed.
about stuff on the. Here's failing to acknowledge, man. You're talking about stuff on the surface level, man. Fred, listen, man. I'm not even trying to be smart, but yo, do some research, dog. Read The Color of Law. Read $40 Million Slaves, right? Read the ISIS papers. Then you'll understand what's really going on here. Don't tell me all this surface BS. Go down to college, because that won't matter either. If people did exactly what you say what you're saying to do, it still won't matter. And there's other people that won't have to go through that entire what you talk about.
So you're telling me Charlie Strong didn't do everything he needed to do when he was the defensive coordinator at Florida on a national championship team. You're picking one person. What I'm telling you is, when he went down there, what I'm telling you is there are people who don't have to go down to college. I gave you a couple names. I can David
see more
Shaw's
names.
father was an
NFL
right
coach. I can sit here right now and give you 60 names of guys who didn't have to go to college at all. Right? How many names do you want of guys that didn't have to go through the college? How many you want?
Who did they have a connection
How many of your ex-Patriot players who failed as a head coach? How many of your ex-Patriot players who failed as a head coach have had to go to the college ranks first?
Head coaches, Patriot players. There's only one former player, and he actually is in the playoffs now.
All former assistants. Everybody that comes from the Belichick tree pretty much fails, right? Except for the guy who he just beat him. But for the most part, most of them fail. Who's the guy coaching the Lions who's doing worse than Jim Caldwell?
Jim
Caldwell can't even get a call. Jim Caldwell can't even get a job. Jim Caldwell hasn't got a call. Jim Caldwell hasn't got a call for anything yet. The guy that's replaced him,
he's an assistant
didn't have to go to the college ranks.
You do realize he
didn't have to go to the college.
Right?
Listen, but
Jim Caldwell might be the next. He might be the next offensive coordinator in Philly.
But just but also
they're looking at him.
They're interested in Caldwell.
If you want to go there,
basically, Fred, what you're saying is we need to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps. That's what you're saying right now. You're getting that bootstrap argument.
No.
We need to go down to college. We need to do the right thing.
The fact that
FOH.
You're ignoring the fact that Tampa fired a coach that had a 6-10 record. He also went right back down to. He went back down.
And you're
to college,
ignoring systematic racism. That's what you're ignoring. How about that? You're ignoring systematic racism. You're telling me all these things, but you're ignoring what's really going on here.
I'm gonna call it the way it is. I'm sorry. The white man is against us. I'm sorry.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, both points have merit, and yes, Fred, that is true. They are, and they have been historically, and they created a machine that continues to be that is perpetual. However,
I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that, Fred, because I studied Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. I don't believe in the white man is against. Again, pick up a book, dog. That's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, you get a certain level of understanding, you know what's really going on.
And I need you to come to a football field and actually tell. If you're actually not involved in that community, you don't know. That's
okay. Unless you study real world and not just things of amusement, you won't understand how the world works. Okay.
All right, my God. Y'all no longer making points, so let's move on.
Let's talk this championship game, man.
Yeah, we gonna keep this short because we also gotta do our NFL picks. So the national championship game is coming up on Monday, of course, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Monday. Clemson versus LSU. And before, Fred, you give us some brief points about the game and what might happen on Monday, I'm just going to tell you guys this. I have some information that can't lose. So if you're out there betting, go to mybookie.ag, promo code War Room, all caps. Here's my tip, my betting tip. The Tigers will win the national championship. Go ahead, Fred. Give us some info.
So this game is a game of two 14-0 teams. You have the LSU Tigers. You have with a Heisman Trophy winner. You also have who will probably be the number one overall pick going into next year, into the 2020 draft. You also have the Clemson Tigers, who have probably the number one quarterback. I don't believe he's the 2020 number one overall pick. That honor is reserved for one quarterback, who, by the way, is a black quarterback at Ohio State, in one Justin Fields. But nonetheless, he's one of the top guys. He hasn't thrown an interception in over 252 attempts. And Trevor Lawrence he's the golden boy. He hasn't lost a game in college. I mean, he is everything you want in a quarterback. I mean, he's 6'5", he's 230. I didn't think he had the wheels he did after what I saw against Ohio State. I'm trying not to drink the Kool-Aid, but he's pretty good. He's pretty darn good. But LSU has a quarterback in their own right. Joe Burrow, who was at Ohio State. Seems like Ohio State's involved in all of this, right? So Joe Burrow was at Ohio State behind Dwayne Haskins and J.T. Barrett, and he couldn't get on the field. He was an all-state basketball player in the state of Ohio, three-sport athlete coming out. He just couldn't get on the field. I mean, he had two good players in front of him. He transferred. He didn't have a great year last year. I mean, he had completion percentages in the 40s last year. Joe Brady comes in from the Saints, and ironically, he's wearing number 9, but nonetheless, I mean, the passing game got a complete revamp. Ed Orgeron just completely revamped everything offensively, and they have taken off from there. I mean, LSU has – this is just an outrageous number for any college team in general. LSU is the first team in college football history to produce a 5,000-yard passer, a 1,000-yard rusher, and two 1,000-yard receivers. One of those two 1,000-yard receivers is Justin Jefferson, who was a two-star, lowly recruited player who couldn't get on the field. Now he scores 4 touchdowns in a playoff game. So you have two really, really good teams, and it's going to be a bit of a back and forth. Both teams score a lot of points. LSU, I think, had the tougher road. I mean, you were playing in the toughest division in college football. You're playing at least you're having Alabama, Auburn, Texas A&M, not to mention Georgia on the schedule, Texas on the schedule, even though they said they were back, and, well, they weren't. But this LSU team, I mean, they were really, really good. And I haven't seen a quarterback like Joe Burrow have such an improvement from year one on a team to year 2, where he looks like a completely different player. For me, my comp for him is Matt Ryan with athleticism. And if that's at this level, that's more than enough. At the NFL level,
pretty good for the NFL.
That's pretty good. Matt Ryan went number 3 overall. And so that's, for me, is one of the things I look for. He has a good arm. Granted, I've seen other comps for him being Andy Dalton. I could see that, too, once he gets to the NFL level. But Andy Dalton has success, and if you put pieces around him, I could see that happening, too. But he just seems to be able to – he has great pocket awareness, and he's just a really good quarterback. But the defenses are what I want to talk about, because for all the fireworks you see on offense, both of these teams, I thought Clemson would take a big step back on defense. Nah, not really. Clemson is just really – they're holding teams to 3.3 yards per play on defense. That is historically great. That's like 50 years historically great. Most teams average about 4 yards a play. They're holding teams to under that average. They are 4th in the country on that. Isaiah Simmons is the name you'll want to know for the Clemson defense. He is a linebacker, 6'4", 230. He runs a 4.4. He has a 42-inch vertical. He is a freak athlete. Can't wait to see him in the combine. He will be, as B. Austin, you like to say, the underwear Olympics. He's the guy you want to watch in that. On the other side, Derek Stingley, cornerback for LSU. He is a freshman. Derek Stingley is the best corner in the country. No questions asked. It's not even a competition. He has better ball skills than probably about 80% of the country's wide receivers, and I'm including him on his team. What is the offense? Because you are the football technique connoisseur that you are, right? What is the one penalty that every DB gets caught for when the ball is in the air and those lights get in their face? What do you get? What is the one thing that happens?
They get to grabbing.
They get to grabbing and they don't turn their head, and then what happens? DPI, right? And it infuriates you, right?
Sound like you describing the Philadelphia Eagles defensive back.
Pretty much. You might want to draft him in a couple years. Yeah. So at 6'1", 190, and he's still growing. That's even crazier. One Derek Stingley as a freshman gets his head around and also turns himself into a receiver as far as technique is concerned, and is able to come down with multiple interceptions.
Yo, I saw some all-22 tape on dude. He reminds me of a cross between Pat Pete and Champ Bailey.
I like it. I like it. I really do. And for me, when I look at it, he has great ball skills, but also he can help you in special teams. And I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. But he's not the only guy. Christian Fulton as the other corner. He's better than Greedy Williams, and he hardly played last year. So I really am excited about him. This secondary will be able to go up against some really good receivers and T. Higgins, Amari Rogers, the son of T. Martin, former Tennessee quarterback who won after Peyton Manning left. Ironically, a black quarterback throwing shots at Tennessee, and won a national championship. But hey, this is going to be a good game, and I'm actually looking. I'll say this: I can't really give a pick yet, but I'll say this, like you did, the Tigers will win.
All right, yeah, that's two.
And I can even say this. I'll say this much. They're coming from Death Valley too.
Okay, well.
Both stadiums are called Death Valley.
I'm about to say, well, then, Tigers going to win. Tigers from Death Valley. Let's get it. All right, that really should be a good game, though. And I'm not an Alabama hater or anything like that, but, it's actually nice to get, I can't say two new teams because Clemson has been holding the spot the last few years as well. So it would have kind of been nice if we could have gotten maybe, two other teams in this whole thing, maybe a LSU, Ohio State. Yeah, something like that. But
I picked Ohio State, and the receiver decides to break his route off and go vertical instead of hitting the post and being wide open in the middle of the field to end the game. So, broke my heart. And I hate Ohio State. Just saying.
All right, let's get to these NFL awards. And everybody out there, we do pre, mid, and postseason NFL awards. Our comeback player of the year, coach of the year, defensive rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year, defensive player of the year, offensive player of the year, and MVP. And since I'm already talking, I'll go ahead and start it off and go first with my picks. For me, this is how it goes. Comeback player of the year. This one was between. I'm just telling you up here. Dalvin Cook, comeback player of the year. Basically, the control over that offense that he had from the running game perspective. It was a boost from what they had last year. They're in a better spot now. We know how fans, talking heads, everybody like that, we're just going to give the quarterbacks props and give the quarterback blame for everything that happens. So I'm pretty sure everybody's just going to say, Kirk Cousins finally turned the corner, and that's why they're in this position. But Kirk Cousins got some great help back in the form of Dalvin Cook, so I'm going to go with him. Coach of the year, Kyle Shanahan. You win 4 games the year before. Now you're the number 1 seed in the NFC side of the bracket. I'm going to go ahead and give it to him. Definitely going to give some props to our fearless leader on the Philadelphia Eagles for doing, and what he did wasn't like they were world beaters, but doing what he did with what he had. Gonna give him some props for that, but I got Kyle Shanahan as the coach of the year. Defensive rookie of the year, we're gonna stay in San Francisco with Maga Bosa. He's a beast. I can't deny it. Offensive rookie of the year. This might be a little bit of a homer pick, but I'm gonna go with Miles Sanders. He wasn't the leading rusher as far as rookies are concerned, but I think he did the most for his team out of those guys. I think the easy pick for a lot of people, I mean, you could go up in Oakland, but I think people look directly to the quarterbacks. A lot of people are going to look at Kyler Murray. The quarterback has he has the opportunity, I should say, to put up the most gaudy numbers, but I'm going to go with Miles Sanders on that. Defensive player of the year, we're going to go over to Fred's team, Stephon Gilmore, holding it down for the whole season. Offensive player of the year, Lamar Jackson. MVP, Lamar Jackson. Who wants to follow me?
I'll follow.
Who's coming with me?
That'd be just fine. Easy for me. Comeback player of the year was Dalvin Cook, 250 carries for 1,135 yards and 13 touchdowns. Jimmy Garoppolo was close, but I mean, nah. Dalvin Cook. I said last year if he becomes if he gets healthy, he's a top 3 back, and well, he proved it easily.
That's why I hesitated, Fred, when I was saying I was like it was between him and I'm thinking Garoppolo, but then I'm like I ain't even gonna bring his name up. Like people are gonna give that, like I said, because he's a quarterback, people are gonna give that credit for them improving the way they did to the quarterback. But sometimes, like, I don't think Garoppolo is a bad player by any means. But sometimes I do question. I'm like, is he really the catalyst behind this, or is he game managing along for the ride? So
I think it's a little bit of both.
I'm not sold on Garoppolo
I
yet,
need to
but
see
he's
it
not
for
going to lose you
two
again.
more years, and maybe then we can talk about. I need more weapons.
Yeah.
He's doing it with not outside of a great tight end. He's doing it with pretty good weapons. So we'll see. For me, also coach of the year. Coach of the year, I'm giving it to a black coach. I'm not throwing any shots, but I'll give it to a black coach. Brian Flores. Brian Flores, 5-11 with the Dolphins, beating my team and doing it pretty well. So, former Patriot, good to see him doing well. Former Patriot, but I said this team was going to be better. I actually had this record actually spot on. Most people said they'd win one game or go completely defeated. I said, no, they're not that bad. I think they had pieces. I mean, Fitzmagic will win you a couple games, maybe. They did that, so I got to give it to them. My other candidate was Sean McDermott. I get it. Most people, the easy answer is John Harbaugh, but with Lamar Jackson. But when you have a team that was supposed to be the worst team in the league, it's pretty with a very bad roster, and you win 5 games. That's tough to do in itself. There's a team that didn't win that many. So for me, that was easy pickings. Defensive rookie of the year. I almost went Josh Allen, but there's a guy in San Francisco, Nick Bosa. We know what he did. Offensive rookie of the year, Josh Jacobs, 1,150 yards and 7 touchdowns. Easy peasy.
Yeah, it was between those two for me. Kyler Murray would be third on my list. It was between the running backs.
The other guy that I actually had and he was pretty significant on their team was Terry McLaurin, the Ohio State receiver for Washington. But unfortunately,
I know firsthand. He gave those aforementioned Eagles defensive backs hell this season.
Yeah. So I mean, that for me that was like a sleeper. But I mean,
but who didn't?
The Raiders had a chance to make the playoffs, and it was because offensively. It wasn't because of Derek Carr. It was because of Josh Jacobs. Defensive player of the year goes my guy Stephon Gilmore. Nick Bosa came in second for me, and I actually had a very distant third, but Minkah Fitzpatrick. I mean, he had like 5 picks in like 3 games. when he switched over from Miami to Pittsburgh. Offensive player of the year. This one's easy. Run CMC, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, 1,000 and 1,000. You do that, you instantly win that. I don't even have to talk about it. That's cool, Lamar Jackson. It's cool what you did, but 1,000 and 1,000.
Right. I think I kind of disrespected C-Mac.
Yeah, I know you did.
Yeah, I think I kind of disrespected C-Mac.
Because in that George Kittle too.
The way they distinguished those two awards, I did have the opportunity to give that to him. I'll think about it. I might change that, but Lamar, he's killing it.
And MVP, it was between Russell Wilson, which I said Russell would win it last year, and well, he didn't. But I got to give it to Lamar Jackson. As much as I don't think he's a great quarterback or anything, I think it's all system, and I think he's just his skill set fits what they're doing. It's not really his arm; it's more his legs.
He's on the black man. He's on the buck.
I'm still saying that boy better learn how to slide.
I'm not a fan of Lamar Jackson whatsoever in the NFL. I love Pat Mahomes and I love Russell Wilson.
He ain't gonna be around. He ain't gonna be around long.
No, I mean, even in the racist mind, he half right. Anyway, listen, I'll give my picks real fast. And not trying to be smart, but everybody I picked is black, not just a couple people. Comeback player of the year, Dalvin Cook. Coach of the year is Brian Flores. Defensive rookie of the year, Devin Bush. Offensive rookie of the year, Kyler Murray. I got Gilmore as defensive player of the year.
Smart pick.
MVP, Lamar Jackson. And offensive player of the year, Michael Thomas. So there's nothing pale on my list. So just want to put that out there. Go ahead, be awesome.
Y'all are crazy. Comeback player of the year, I'm going to go with Darren Waller of the Raiders. He had a game where he had 5 receptions for 75 yards as a tight end. And why do I bring that up? Because that was his entire season in 2018. In 2019, over 80 catches for 1193. And he's the fastest tight end on the field these days. Comeback player of the year, Darren Waller. Shout out.
Except for when I picked him up on my fantasy team, he didn't do a damn thing. But it's all good.
He's a former receiver, just saying. He's going to be one of the fastest guys on the field.
Shout out to Dalvin Cook. Coach of the year, man, shout out Kyle Shanahan. Shout out Dougie P. I want John Harbaugh for figuring out what to do with the young Negro boy. Defensive rookie of the year. Defensive rookie of the year. Shout out to my man, Nick. I treat him like the Middle East Iran when the quarterback saw me. Bosa. Offensive rookie of the year, Josh Jacobs, not even close. Shout out Miles. Defensive player of the year, shout out TJ Watt and shout out Minka Fitz, but it's definitely that MAGA dude, Stephon Gilmore. Offensive player of the year, Christian McCaffrey, man. My bad, Jimmy. 1,000 and 1,000, dude. Ain't nothing you could do with that, man. 1,000 and 1,000.
Like I said, I think I don't know how I forgot about Christian McCaffrey, man. I straight up disrespect him.
He's on his team sucks. MVP.
Still.
MVP. Pop Rocks and Tootsie Pop's protege, man. Lamar Jackson. All
right. Well, look, didn't Lamar Jackson didn't he have like 1,200 rushing?
Yeah, he had 1,200 rushing.
Yeah, so
he said that.
I'm just trying to justify my old player of the year pick. He had 3,000. He had 3,000 and 1,000. So that might trump 1,000.
I mean, 3,000 and 1,000 nowadays.
I mean, I'm about to say 3,000 is kind of pedestrian as far as quarterback go, but he gave you another 1,000 on the ground. And I'm not. And this is coming from somebody. I've never in my life been impressed by a quarterback rushing for that many yards. It's not really my thing. It's not my style of football. But
by the time he's 28 and
did what he did
a lot, and they tell him to sit in the pocket for the rest of his career, and he can't throw, don't be upset. Just saying.
But you know what he did? You know what he did? You know what he did, Joe?
Nothing to do with this season, though.
Look. Lamar Jackson did what everybody viewed Vic as doing that he didn't really do. Like this season was the Michael Vick, quote unquote Michael Vick experience that people hung on.
That's what they thought they saw, but they never really saw that.
Right. Like, really. This is the experience that still have people running around disrespecting their own intelligence, saying, you know, Mike Vick should be in the Hall of Fame. This is what they thought they saw. So, I mean, come on, 36 touchdowns.
But the whole thing, exactly. The season is amazing, but that's with the MVP. It has nothing to do with what he'll be doing when he's 28, because the fact of the matter.
No. That MVP, that's locked up. The only thing I'm even questioning is Offensive Player of the Year. But I'm looking at his stuff and I'm justifying me even picking him for that.
No, I think that's a good pick for Offensive Player of the Year. But I'm talking about the whole idea of where you'll be when you're 28. I mean, you could become a great pocket passer and sit in the pocket your entire career, a la Matthew Stafford and Dan Marino, and never have any team success. So, fact of the matter is, you go season by season, and if this is successful right now, you got to run with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think about when you're 28.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those
when he's 28.
You hope defensive coordinators don't catch up to whatever it is he's doing. You hope he doesn't get hurt. That's really the first hope.
I don't think.
I mean, it's football. It's football. You get hurt running. You get hurt standing in the pocket. But
I don't think Bull's gonna be with us. I don't think he's gonna be among the living when he's 28 because he don't slide. He don't get that.
Might be. Listen,
they don't run out of bounds. He be trying to truck dudes. Like, look, I'm.
There's a lot of Jadeveon Clownies out here, man.
But hey, man, and guess who's in his division? Mr. Suspended indefinitely will catch him from behind. I'm just saying.
Let's say he has a 4-5-year career. Like, you got to play the game the way you are. Like, you become a pocket passer, you stand there and don't have any success. Like, just like
Pat Mahomes
you gotta
is one of the best pocket passers in the league, and yet he can scramble around and still keep his eyes upfield. Don't give me that. Sorry.
And you're saying that to say what? You're saying that to say what? Are you saying
y'all
that
both just got time tonight for no reason.
Nah, but what's that got to do with it?
Because I'm listening. It's like y'all, like the whole time, y'all not saying things that are on the opposite side of the spectrum from each other, but y'all just got time. Like,
they here for it.
I've never been.
No, I'm saying I'm talking about Lamar Jackson, and you're telling me what Patrick Mahomes does. I'm like, okay, what's your point?
My point is, as a running quarterback, and when you're, I'm going to have 1,200 yards and I can last for 4 years, that's great. But when you're 28, 29, and you can scramble around like Russell Wilson and still extend plays and not get hit, be offense, not get hit.
So
you know how we
you're saying they have the same game. You're saying that
I'm hopeful.
Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson has the same game as Russell Wilson or Patrick Mahomes.
No. What I'm hopeful of is that his game matures and evolves, and at 28, even if he is still running a 4.4 and able to get busy, he doesn't have to pull that tool out, as often because he has matured as a pocket passer. Yeah.
Tools out on the field. I mean, that could also mean the last Boy Scout though. Because Bull definitely pulled the toolie out on the field and got busy.
Argument. I'm talking about his skill set. You want to give me guys that don't even have the same exact skill set. None of the guys you've named have ever done what he just did.
Well, Russell was a runner.
Sixers getting hammered.
No, not like this. Not like dog.
No one's been a runner like this except for
guys
this.
are runners,
but that's the point.
Lamar
Nobody
Jackson
has had a skill set. This is different.
Lamar Jackson.
This is next level. Nobody's been able to do this.
It's because he's fast. He's faster than everyone else. He's still doing what Russell Wilson does. He's just a better athlete.
Of course. So are you not supposed to use your strength?
Quarterback is one from the pocket. From a short term perspective. From a short-term perspective, it's sustainable.
The fact that Bull threw 36 touchdown passes, though.
That's impressive.
Okay.
Long term,
will he do that every single?
Yeah, long term, I don't want to see him like RG
Who knows? I don't know. I mean, maybe he was.
What decreases? What
skill set?
What decreases?
The last quarterback that had at least 500 to 800 yards rushing to win a Super Bowl. I'll let you do that. Do that research.
We've never seen this though, and I'm not even talking
Those
about
type of quarterbacks.
We've
last.
never seen this. We have
I've
never
seen Michael
this.
Vick already. He couldn't do it.
Fred, listen to me.
I've seen
Listen
Russell Wilson.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Russell Wilson does it better. Pat Mahomes
you're comparing
can do it
him
better.
to Michael Vick and Russell Wilson. They don't have the same skill set. Here's the one thing you do, and I can go back on every show that you've been on. You like to speak in absolutes when you can't predict the future. Stop trying to predict the future. You always
but Jimmy, do you agree? Do you agree?
All the time. You can't.
He does. He has in the past, but do you agree that him learning to slide or stay in the pocket and keep his eyes upfield would potentially lessen the likelihood, not erase it, because we're not talking absolute, but lessen the likelihood of somebody giving him CTE as opposed to him being a runner?
Maybe. You know, but when you got a quarterback
let's revisit this in like 2 to 3 years. We'll see where he is. See if he's still balling.
Six of them.
Because Jameis going to be on his heels when he stopped throwing picks. He's balling.
When he stopped throwing picks because he's balling.
Your quarterback is a cheater, and I don't know whether you know this or not, but the game is actually changing. Things that worked in the game right now and even 10 years ago may not work in the future. You speak in absolutes. You can't.
Okay.
Unless you've been to the future already.
There will always be room for the pocket passing quarterback. By the way, your quarterback got old and needed a running back that lasted 6 years to even get to a Super Bowl. He did not win one doing it his way.
There will always be. You can't speak to what will always be.
Don't talk about helicopter, John.
Quarterback is one from the
Fred,
pocket.
I'm a little older than you. I remember certain things
Sixers
people
ass
said will
without
always
Embiid,
be in the 80s that don't exist anymore. That don't exist. There will always be one.
All right,
like Larry Johnson.
let me give a few things because we basically out of time. We're not going to have time to talk about any of this, but I just wanted to get some stuff off, especially because our quote of the week is actually from, somebody in our chat and not somebody on TV or something like that. In regards to Joe Judge being hired by the New York Giants and coming from the coaching staff of the New England Patriots, the quote of the week is, "This reeks of going into the Gucci store and copping a keychain just to be able to say you went to the store and got something out of there." And that's from the Bull Miz, the resident New York Giants fan, on the hiring of Joe Judge. Think about what he said, and you'll know exactly what he's talking about. Because when you go to the Patriots and you hire, what was he, Fred? He was your wide receivers coach?
Wide receivers coach and special teams coach.
You go get a wide receivers coach from the champs. Yeah, you basically shopping in the Gucci store, but you can't really afford nothing, so you come out with a keychain.
Terrible.
Yeah, he's a keychain.
I guess he didn't have to go down. He didn't have to go down to college and kiss ass, did he? I guess he didn't have to, huh? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Stat of the week.
So
Vince Carter.
Hold on, real quick.
Hold up, y'all. Hold up. Stat of the week, man. We gotta give this boy his props, man. Vince Carter, the right hand man, becomes the first NBA player to play in 4 different decades. Vince Carter stepped into the league in 1998, so he played in the 90s, the 2000s, 2010s, and now that he played after New Year's Day, he's now the only NBA player who's played in 4 different decades. So shout out to him. This date in sports history, January 9th, 1811, the first ever women's golf tournament was held. That's kind of surprising all the way back in 1811. I didn't know they was letting, women out the kitchen back in the early 1800s.
Yeah.
So shout out to them. I'm dead there. Well, it ain't me. It's them. Y'all always get on me for saying what's real. Like, I ain't know they was letting them out the kitchen back then.
Golf ain't no sport.
So shout out to Giannis and LeBron, NBA Players of the Week. And Kawhi says, allegedly, somebody tell LeBron stop being scared to guard me. And on that note, we out. We'll talk about that next week.
Yo,
you got it, Jim.
Thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us for another briefing in the war room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter, all the callers who called in to holler at us. Listen, man, appreciate all the support.
Definitely something we didn't get to, man. Our bad.
Yo, apologize. Tune in next week, live right here on demand as we recap the NFL divisional rounds and preview the conference championship games. So enjoy your weekend.
Fred and Jimmy argue also.
Back here. Be sure to catch our conversation. I don't argue. I don't argue with those, man. I teach. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, be sure to catch our conversations on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as our blogs, webcasts. Everything we do can be found at the hub of warroomsports.com. So pick up my books, thebook.com. So important to read. Also, you can find everything I just said at the hub of warroomsports.com. So until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we'll see you chumps on top.
Peace. This is the Rob Jimmy Fred Show. 6 to 8. Yeah. War Room Sports. Y'all ready? Let's go. Stay in tune to Jimmy. Know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Portrait secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, TJ, Jack Beck, B. Austin. I'm Jack. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.